What up? What up? What up? What up? You already know what it is. You have just entered the war zone where it is going down all over the place, where you must expect the unexpected. So be prepared when you step up into the war zone to expect the unexpected. Let's go. Now, I have proof. Joke, no joke. I don't want to hear anything about this conspiracy, this theory. I heard from this one. Oh, let me call this one. No, bruh. We got the proof right here, bruh. We got the proof right here. Straight Game TV, formerly known as Straight Game TV, and now we refer to this buster as Sideways Game TV. Sideways Game TV was an alleged Tupac affiliate, and we all know that this guy is not a Tupac affiliate. No outlaws have reached out to this guy. No outlaws has mentioned Sideways Game TV in any of their interviews, and they are pretty relevant and active on these social media streets. Okay, we don't have uh, anything said from Suge Knight in regards to Sideways Game TV. So this guy is wholeheartedly a kappa who just want to be down like Brandy. Okay, this is what Sideways Game TV is about. Now, I have stone cold proof, irrefutable proof that Choke No Joke will not be able to counter. How the heck are you going to counter the lead detective on the Notorious B.I.G. case? Now, without further ado, let's jump right into this. Smack that like button on in, good people. Let's go.
He took a bullet in the head. A lot of people would say, because I mean, there was a theory going around that he had Tupac killed so he wouldn't leave death row. But a lot of people would say, how are you going to get that bullet in your head?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think that's really preposterous. Russell's original theory was that Suge was behind this, because what Russell couldn't separate in his mind was that Death Row Records and Suge Knight were separate entities. All of the evidence points towards Death Row Records. None of the evidence points towards Suge. But because Suge was the sole shareholder in Death Row, when you said Death Row, you were talking about Suge Knight. And so for that reason, Russell had thought, that all of this evidence pointed to an inside job with Death Row Records, and he blamed Suge for it. And he was very vocal about that. And he was going to the sheriffs to apologize to Suge Knight and tell the investigators that they have this case against Suge that's crumbling, and to abandon that case and get on board with solving the two biggest mysteries in rock and roll history, or in music history.
So Russell Poole was going to apologize to Suge Knight.
100%.
Wow. So he really felt bad about originally accusing Suge then.
He felt very bad. As he and I were working on Chaos Merchants, we handed a copy of Tupac 187 to the DA's office, and they just weren't feeling it. Our contact at the DA's office just wasn't feeling it. He goes, I get it, but, and so we redoubled our efforts to try and drill down deeper. And Russell insisted that every single fact be footnoted. So if you read Chaos Merchants, every single fact has a footnote as to where it comes from. And so you can see everything lines up perfect with this. And it's not just conjecture, it is actually supported by documents.
I hope you are listening to what is going on. Okay? The breakdown of Russell Poole and why I believe Russell Poole was outed. Russell Poole walked up into the same precinct as Reggie Wright Jr.'s father, and this guy never walked out because Russell Poole had let the LAPD know that he had new evidence showing that Suge Knight was definitely not involved. Suge Knight was the victim. And this guy, Russell Poole, rest in peace, was summoned to the freaking LAPD Rampart Field Division office and never walked out. The guy was unalived in the freaking precinct. Reggie Wright claims that Russell Poole just had a heart attack in the precinct. He said he was talking and he just had a heart attack. This is what Reggie Wright claims. Choke no joke. Why don't you ever speak on Russell Poole? This is what Russell Poole, this is the findings of the real, not a YouTube investigator. This is the detective for the notorious B.I.G. case, the lead #1 detective, the first.
It's supported by witness testimony. It's supported by, interviews that people have done, and get on board with solving the two biggest mysteries in rock and roll history or in music history.
So Russell Poole was going to apologize to Suge Knight.
100%.
Joke, do you hear that, Joke? Do you hear that, Joke? Yo, sexy star. I love the name, sexy star. Let's get it. I love the name. Layla, my girl Layla, how you doing, dear love? Layla, we are bringing proof and facts, Layla. Suge Knight was not involved in the demise of Tupac Shakur. Point blank. We are not getting this from any YouTubers, Layla, and you do some heavy investigation yourself, Layla. But we're not getting this from YouTubers right here. We're getting this from the source himself, back from the grave. This is Russell Poole. This conspiracy is huge, y'all. It was freaking cops against cops. Y'all not getting it. You're not understanding. This was cops against cops, and guess what? It is still cops against cops right now. But what happened was a certain set of cops, which is the Reggie Wright cops and all of them and their cohorts, became the popular ones, became the ones to attack social media before we even knew what the hell social media was about. Right? These guys were on here trying to do documentaries and trying to create content and change and spin narratives. 10 years after our good brother Tupac was shot, and 10 years after our good brother Suge Knight was shot. Suge Knight could have been gone too, y'all. And they calling this man a hit maker. They calling this man the person that put the hit on Pac, and this guy could have been gone. This guy got a bullet in his head. And they still roofed him after. Come on, man. You telling me this is not a real conspiracy? They put this man in jail over a probation violation. Who the freak gets who gets 9 years for probation violation? This is what they gave Suge Knight. He gets out. Dudes tried to kill him again. They shoot him up again. Put 7 hot ones in him at the Chris Brown concert. Shot Suge. Suge could have been dead and gone again. Did he die and leave? No. God has him here for a big reason. Because, bro, this case kinda don't go nowhere without Suge Knight. They damn killed all of the witnesses except one, and that is the most important one. That's Suge Knight. That's Suge Knight. And now they are trying to, the nerve and the bizzles on these damn evil spirits. This man could have been dead and gone. He was the freaking mark. And they somehow, through media relations, turned this man into the actual perp and not the victim?
Wow. So he really felt bad about originally accusing Suge then.
He felt very bad. As he and I were working on Chaos Merchants, you know, we handed a copy of Tupac 187 to the DA's office, and they just weren't feeling it. Our contact at the DA's office just wasn't feeling it. He goes, you know, I mean, I get it, but, you know, and so we redoubled our efforts to try and drill down deeper. And Russell insisted that every single fact be footnoted. So if you read Chaos Merchants, every single fact has a footnote as to where it comes from. And so you can see everything lines up perfect with this. And it's not just conjecture, it is actually supported by documents. It's supported by witness testimony. It's supported by, you know, interviews that people have done since then to give us little clues. And when Russell saw all of this laid out, he felt horrible about things he'd said about Suge. And he realized that Suge was a victim that night. Suge was not the perpetrator of the crime.
I know Russell felt very, very hurt. I know Russell Poole was hurt. I know he was hurt. Russell Poole went on a media campaign.
Still looking for a new job?
Okay.
Just found out my dad's sister's husband
Russell
is
went on a
buddies with
media
the CEO
campaign
of a company.
getting after Suge Knight. I know Russell was upset with him, almost with his own self. But he shouldn't have been upset because when he learned later on that he's going up against an entire department for the LAPD, he couldn't feel that bad. This man has over 200 homicide cases done. He's like, hold on, how this is a man that shot a man gets shot right on the strip at hundreds of witnesses, Peterson Museum. And I'm going to solve this case. I know this is what Russell Poole is thinking. This is a piece of cake case. I done seen 200 complex homicide cases that I have tried and I was successful with. And you mean to tell me I can't get basic evidence for the Biggie case? And the Biggie case is leading me into the Tupac case. Just by investigating the Biggie case, it's leading me into the Tupac case. Because if I want to find out why Biggie was killed, the investigation led Russell Poole into Death Row Records, into the Tupac murder. This is why. Unfreaking canny. Now let me show you something real quick. All right, because we over here cooking tonight. All right. Hold up. We over here cooking tonight. I want to show you Sideways Game TV, right? Let me show you Sideways Game TV. Let me show you. I can't believe this dude did this.
So basically, I got the job.
Sounds promising.
Indeed helps you match based on what you know, not who you know.
Oh, thank goodness. I don't even know if he exists, to be honest.
Watch this. I'm showing you the deception right here. All right, this is his page right here. Let's click on it. All right, let's click on this one. All right, hold up 1 second. All right, let me find this joint right here. These videos. All right. Now I want you to hold up. Let me find the video I am looking for. All right. But I joined that was a month out, so hold up. Let's see. All right. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. Check this out, y'all. Let's bring this up. All right. Now, you see this right here? Let's click on this.
Compounded
Now,
semaglutide is not
now this
FDA
title right here,
approved.
right?
Wegovy is.
It's funny, right? Because let me show you. Okay. So
I ordered
if you look
200
at this
hand-forged
title,
knives to my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them. I'm Noah Rosen, founder.
Life is like those cards. It's not what you.
okay. Now if you look at this title, the title
dealt, but how you play it.
The title reads, How I Shut Down Russell Poole's Tupac and Biggie Theory in a One-on-One Debate. Now, this is too funny. This is too funny. I want to tell you, man, these people are just relentless. All right, when it comes to evilness. Okay? These people are relentless when it comes to evilness. The title, this is a month out. He just did this video because he was paid by Diddy, allegedly. Now, this guy states that Sideways Game TV said he said how he shut down the murder, the 200 plus homicide investigator. This idiot talk about he shut down Russell Poole. This guy said that he shut down Russell Poole. Now, let's hear what he has to say about Russell Poole, y'all. Remember, I was saying nobody's talking about Russell Poole. Why are they not talking about Russell Poole? And here this guy come a month prior to today claiming that he shut Russell Poole down. And now you can't make the stuff up, y'all. This stuff is getting cartoonish by the second. Let's hear what he has to say.
The share button. Today I got another exclusive story with pictures to prove confirmation of information. I would say around about I had a copyright case that I was fighting in involving some of my music, and I had filed the federal copyright case. I was representing myself, federal copyright case downtown LA at the federal courthouse. And so on this particular day, I was going downtown to actually file some paperwork. And as I was going downtown, going into the courthouse on this specific day, I ran into a guy who looked familiar. And as I'm going through, you put your keys in the thing in the little box and your phone and all of that and your paperwork, and they slide it through the metal detector. You go through the metal detector, and the guy who was actually wanting me down after was Russell Poole. I guess he had got a job, working as one of the courthouse security guys, and I once I spotted him, I told him, I was like, yo, I said, you the guy that investigated the Biggie murder. He was like, yeah, I told him I was a friend of Tupac's, and I had worked with Tupac, and he without provocation, he went into his theory on what he thought about the Biggie case and the Tupac case. But he started off with the Biggie case. He was like, yeah, Suge Knight, and he did this, and Suge Knight did that, and Suge Knight is responsible, and if I would have stayed on the case a little bit longer, I would have been able to solve it, and so on and so forth. And so I knew one of his theories was the Amir Muhammad Nation of Islam thing. You know what I mean? And with that, I knew that he didn't really know what he was talking about. I knew that it was just a theory of his that he was operating under based on hearsay. Because, like I said, first and foremost, the guy real name was Billups, if I'm not mistaken. Billups was the guy's real name, but going under Amir Muhammad. And I was like, well, I said, but for me personally, I'm like, nah, no Nation of Islam member would be involved in something like that. You know what I mean? From that perspective. And he was like, well, my investigation proved, and I'm like, well, you actually didn't prove anything. You know what I mean? Everything that you came up with was basically speculation. It was, because like I said, no one.
So you mean to tell me this former FBI high-profile homicide detective, Russell Poole, saw you in court and just decided to blurt out high-profile classified information because it's an ongoing case? So he just decided to just blurt out high-profile information to you, and he just met you. You're in court because you have to take care of some copyright issues. And I don't know, just because you are black and I guess you are a rapper, Russell Poole felt the need to tell you that Suge Knight is the one who did it. What if Russell, all right, what if you were an actual spy for Suge Knight? Why would Russell Poole trust you to give you information telling you his theory on the way he feels about the whole Tupac and Biggie conspiracies? Why were you privy to have this information? And the beautiful thing is the video that I played before this confirmed that Russell Poole completely did a 360 from that theory. Why would you bring up Russell Poole now, a month ago, when Russell Poole already completely switched his theory? It's not even that he switched his theory. He was right the whole time. What he was wrong about was Suge Knight's involvement. He's seen the activity of Death Row Records. He's seen all of the documentation. It's all documented. It's just that the LAPD Rampart Division was blocking the feds and detectives out of New York to the point where, the federal government was like, I had it with you. We're going to dissolve your whole entire department. Okay, and this is what happened. And then you have one of the most crooked cops of all time in Detective Greg Caden, 10 years later, coming out with a proper agreement with Keefe D, talking about Keefe D and Orlando Anderson is the one who set up the hit. This is shenanigans. 10 years later, y'all, we are still running on this narrative that Tupac entered into gang violence and did not know what he was doing, according to all of these idiots that's around. Tupac didn't know about gang culture, man. He didn't know how to handle himself. But he went over but he came from New York, from the Bronx, from my town, and went all the way over there and took over the whole damn coast. But he don't know what he's doing. He don't know how to handle himself. I mean, obviously not, right? When you have a whole damn department conspiring against you, not only that, the damn lead security for Tupac and Suge Knight and Death Row Records was responsible for you, Tupac. You were in a no-win situation, Pac. They would have got you at any point. If they didn't get you in Vegas, Pac, they would have got you somewhere else, because this guy, Reggie Wright Jr., knew all of your movements, Pac. They had to get rid of you, Pac. Why they had to get rid of you? Because you was on to them. This is why you fired Reggie Wright Jr. This is why you fired David Kenner. And then right after they got fired, about 2 weeks later, Tupac was unalived. So what are we talking about? Suge Knight keep telling you it's above Puff and all of these people. Suge Knight was referencing attorneys. He also referenced executives. It's bigger than you guys. It's bigger than this, man. If Suge Knight set it up, that guarantee you Suge Knight would still be out. He would not be in jail. Meaning, even if he did what he did with the whole Terry Crews matter, he would not have gotten 30 years, because he would have been a part of the cabal. And this clearly shows Suge Knight was not a part of the cabal.
No one was ever, actually charged for that situation. And so, he kept on going. And like I said, I knew, and as we know now from what the former police officer Greg Kading had, uncovered, that Russell Poole, his theories were just that. They were conspiracy theories. Like I said, they didn't base books and the movies, The City of Lies, on some of the stuff that he had came up with. And like I said, once again, it just proven to be simply not true. And then recently, they have a new documentary coming out called The Last Man Standing. And I guess it's based loosely on what they have supposedly come up with, new evidence and people speaking out. And I haven't seen it yet, so I can't accurately comment on that. But like I said, once again, I know personally from talking to Russell Poole, and not only on that occasion at the courthouse, but like I said, he gave me his number, and like I said, he wanted to continue the conversation, and
wow, this guy made such a great, grave impression. Wow. So Russell Poole wanted to buddy with you, Poindexter Sideways Game TV, He wanted to give you his number, and be your buddy, He wanted to take you to Starbucks and y'all can talk it out, Like 50 said, I don't believe you. I mean, I flat out, bro, I don't believe you. Bro, $10,000 for you to hook up to a polygraph and say what you just said, I guarantee you will fail. take a freaking polygraph test. Take a polygraph test of all of what you were stating regarding you knowing Tupac, you being close to Tupac. Take a polygraph test, because we don't believe you. Even Reggie Wright Jr. said that you were not a part of Tupac. Why would Reggie say that? And this nigga Reggie was always that was Tupac security. How wouldn't Reggie Wright know who Pac was associated with? Bruh, bare minimum, Reggie Wright is going to know that. Bare minimum, he's going to know that. He said, you, Sideways Game TV, we're not affiliated. You are a freaking person, a Poindexter, who decided to capitalize on this Poindexter movement called the internet. But the streets have tapped in, and we have to now be on there. Listen, when churches have to be on here now, also, you know we on here. Oh, everybody is on here now. All right? You Poindexters are not running this no more. We catching up to y'all. DJ Academics. Yeah, we catching up. No matter what, we catching up. My dogs is out here on these YouTube streets. They catching up. I'm catching up also. I'm catching up by the grace of God. Let's roll.
And he also wanted to take a picture with me. And we took a picture, and the picture's right here. And so, yeah, and then he went into like the
look, he wanted to take a picture with Russell. Let me get this straight. So Russell Poole wanted to take a picture with you. Why would a cop, homicide cop, who is retired and he's doing a job right now in the courthouse, why would he, hey, you know what, can we take a picture together? Hey, you know, why would he want to do that? Woo! Please tell me, why would he want to do that, Straight Game? You asked him for a picture because you're a clout chaser, Straight Game. You clout chased with Tupac. You have a picture with you standing in a room with Tupac, and Tupac is nowhere next to you. Tupac is surrounded by a mob of people, and you are totally not in set and in frame with that mob of people and Tupac. Clout chasing. Just clout chasing.
You know, the Tupac thing. You know, he was saying that, you know, Suge Knight set Tupac up, and it was all a setup, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. But I just showed y'all what happened with Russell Poole.
What do you mean? I'm like, you know, on side of the fact that Suge was in the car while the bullets were being hailed and thrown and spit at the car. I'm like, well, Suge would have.
Man, please. Please. We don't want to hear that. 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 Now, this is important. Hold up. Let me find this. Hold up. Okay. Now, let's check this out, right? This is Reggie.
Now that I
This
use
is Reggie
Monday
Wright
Service,
Jr.
AI makes
And
solving tickets my form of meditation.
again, if Reggie
Monday
Wright
Service is
Jr.
a ticketing platform that helps us
put
manage
a
and
hit on Tupac,
Right.
Anybody don't believe this, call in there. When I was Russell with
if this is
Russell
listen,
Poole, you know, he's been on that soap opera for a long time, and so now that him and R.J. Bonds done,
this right here, this interview, Reggie Wright Jr. This is from 10 years ago. Okay, again, choke no joke. If Tupac was set up by Reggie Wright Jr. and Suge Knight, why is Reggie Wright Jr. talking like this?
hooked up Russell Poole and R.J. Bonds, and they done got the Suge, and I think Suge, I heard the Suge was telling them a story where he's been trying to implicate me, that he'll give me up or give information to them when he was supposed to be in jail or whatever, that I had something to do with.
Excuse me. Choke no joke. Why would Suge Knight implicate Reggie Wright Jr. as the orchestrator for the Tupac hit and the attempt on Suge Knight's life? Huh? Choke, answer me that, Choke. Answer me that. Why would Reggie Wright start trying to discredit Suge Knight because Suge Knight allegedly was out there saying or implicating that Reggie Wright was the orchestrator and the perp who attempted to take his life and did take Tupac's life?
With shooting Tupac or the killing of Tupac, which and Biggie Small, which it don't surprise me at all because I know what Suge's made of, so I know he's a rat at heart.
See,
just like Lloyd Tata been saying about him.
Mm-hmm. Now, is he giving Russell Poole, or was he giving Russell Poole this information in hopes that Russell Poole could work something out to get Suge out of jail?
Correct. Russell Poole, matter of fact, Russell Poole was actually at the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department homicide division, telling them that, hey, Suge is willing to cooperate about this and cooperate about that, and you know, different things, not just me, but you know, Suge trying to tell on everything he done heard of in the last 20 years to get out, and so he was up there, you know, telling the homicide.
Choke, you heard that, right? You heard that, right? Russell Poole said that Suge Knight was willing to testify or willing to work with Russell Poole on what he feels or what he heard is going on. So Suge Knight was willing to work with Russell Poole, and guess what happened? Russell Poole went up into Reggie Wright Jr.'s domain and never came out.
Investigators all the things that Suge promised to do if they would drop the charges against him. And I understand that while he was meeting with a particular homicide investigator, he just dropped dead and had a heart attack and dropped dead right there on the spot, which is crazy.
Wow.
So Russell Poole just dropped dead right there on the spot.
Let's be honest here. The next
Y'all hear this,
conspiracy that's going to come out, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a new book or
some people just
movie
don't
or
have
whatever
any care for human life. It's unreal.
You were secretly behind that and the Frank thing and the Michael Moore thing and the Tupac thing, and that you're just the biggest person who can pull all the strings behind the scene ever. If you're able to pull all that off, you know.
Yeah, well, I just say God look out for me, and He knows the truth, and He just don't like that all these people are doing all of these bad things. So
Yo, Reggie
everybody
Wright
that
is a mug. Yo, Reggie.
been attacking me in the
Yo,
last 10 years. It's just there's something.
Reggie Wright is something else, isn't he? He is something else. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Reggie Wright is something else. But I wanted to play that for you and put into perspective all of the tricks and turns and lies of the Tupac and Biggie conspiracy. See, because we here on the streets, we hear that's on these YouTube streets. A lot of us really know the case. A lot of us really already solved the case. We already have the case solved. Do we have all of the physical evidence with us regarding any clips or information? No. But we have followed this case long enough to know who, what, where, and how when it comes to the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur. We know. We know what happened. We know what happened. It was bigger than this was bigger than hip hop. They needed to kill off the Black Messiah. This was bigger than hip hop. This was big, bro. All right. Pac was going to war with the president. Mr. Bill Clinton, Mr. Bill Bob Dole, you too old to understand the way the game's told. You're lame, so I gotta itch you with the high facts. Once I release, I'm making million niggas top that. Pac was going after presidents, bruh. He was waking up the people. The mass of people loved Pac. Pac was waking the masses up, bro. It's bigger than what y'all think. If they wanted to collapse on that Rampart division, they could have, but they didn't. What they did was they simply dissolved the entire department. They dissolved it. So the LAPD would not have that nasty, bright, hideous spot on their record. But it's there because you're not going to blame our streets for taking Pac, for taking our new age, I want to say current age Malcolm X. Just like y'all took out Malcolm X and tried to blame our people for taking out Malcolm X, and our people did not take out Malcolm X. Again, working with the police, Malcolm X was taken out. Working with the police, again, Martin Luther King was taken out. Working with the police, again, Tupac Shakur was taken out. Working with the police, again, the Notorious B.I.G. was taken out. The Notorious B.I.G. is also significant. Why? The man had a whole coast, not a city block, not an area of a city, a coast, just as well as Pac. That was too powerful. The government didn't like that. That was too powerful. They needed to boost up people like Diddy now. They needed to make him like king of hip hop and turn hip hop RuPaul friendly. This was Diddy's job. This is what Diddy was here to do. But God said no after a while. He said no now. God allowed the devil to play around for a little while, but now his time is up. Y'all make sure y'all smack that like button. I thank you for coming out and hanging out with me. I appreciate you all. Make sure you tune in and smack that notification bell so you can receive all hot takes coming out from the war zone. I truly appreciate you. The wacky world of OTV. What's happening? What's going on, Wacky? Wacky said Tupac was a victim of modern day COINTELPRO. I was about to say it. That's why I was about to say CIA. I was about to say it. That's why I was like, man, let me not even go there, right? And then I just started saying police. You know, I didn't want to even get all deep like that. I didn't want to get as deep as I just got with it, but you know, you have to make these people, a lot of people understand. They just look at it from a surface level and think that's what it's about. But the powers at be that's pulling the strings, they know that a lot of our people are feeble-minded, and they are not going to peel layer after layer after layer. They know our people don't have time and patience for that right now. Their life is always on the go. They don't have time to be doing that. So they're going to look at a clip and base their result or their opinion off of a 1 to 10 minute clip of what someone is saying. And that is just total robbery of our culture. Okay? Total robbery. The wacky said, then with the help of the police, they assassinated Pac. Right. And tried to take out Suge. Bruh, Suge was walking into record labels like, hold on, you gonna pay my artists? Are you crazy? Well, all of these other artists getting 10 cents on a damn dollar, like Mariah Carey was fighting for and sued for, right? They were getting 10 cents. Suge, like, you're not giving that to my boys. Suge was using his street know-how and walking up in there and taking care of business, because you're not going to friendly rob me. You're not going to friendly extort me in front of my face. And Suge was not having it. They had to get Suge out of there. Do you not? Yeah, I mean, come on. And if Reggie Wright set up the Tupac hit with Suge Knight, please tell me this. Choke no joke. Choke no joke. Please tell me this. Why didn't Keefy D mention Suge Knight's name? I mean, I would assume Keefy D knows more than he knows. Why wouldn't Keefy D mention anything? Never mention Suge Knight's name. Never. You know how many times we heard from Keefy D? Not much information we heard from Keefy D surrounding the Tupac conspiracy. We've heard from Keefy D countless times. And we have never heard an expression come out of Keefy D's mouth in regards to Suge Knight having any involvement with the Tupac hit. Now, we do have Reggie Wright Jr. being tabbed for being involved and complicit in the Tupac hit. We have that from damn Keefy D. We have that from Keefy D before Keefy D even went to jail. Before Keefy D went to jail, Keefy D said Reggie Wright is complicit. Reggie Wright, he's even said Reggie Wright is complicit in the Biggie murder. He said, well, if Reggie Wright said that I'm complicit in Tupac, then you're gonna have to investigate him for Biggie. He said, if I go down for Tupac, then Reggie got to go down for Biggie. That's what Keefy D said. That's what Keefy D said. And guess what? Keefy D did not mention Suge Knight. Never. Not only that, we have documents stating that Suge Knight was innocent. That's coming directly from Russell Poole. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about, Choke? What are we talking about? Wacky said, I agree. They had to get Suge out. Period. Suge had to go. How do you get for Tupac? How is it that you violate your probation? Okay, you violate your probation and they give you 9 years? I didn't say parole, y'all. I said probation. Completely railroaded. There's like nothing you can do when you're fighting against law enforcement. You know how corrupt law enforcement was at that time? It's gotten a little bit better with the checks and balances. It really has. But goodness gracious, bro, at that time, that's probably the perfect name. They call it rampart. They was running damn rampant with that crooked energy they had with the police department. And you should be ashamed of yourselves, you black, nasty, stinking devils, you. You are worse than the white supremacy cops. The black cops who's out here doing the most to our people, man. This is stink. and the civilians that's complicit helping these coppers. It's disgusting. Hey, man, I'm up out of here. I love you all except for the ones you know I don't. Peace.